Welcome to part one of the trip through Battersea Park and onto Clapham Common. I'll pop the stats on the screen. The route provided by Komoot is a cleaned up version of my run and doesn't represent the stats displayed. The run today was only going to be to Battersea Park, but when I saw how close the Common was, I decided to add it in. Why? Clapham Common is going to be the start point for the London to Brighton ride that I'll be doing at the end of June for the British Heart Foundation. Here we are in Hyde Park. It's featured many times in my videos. It's a 350 acre park and it's grade 1 listed. It's a royal park. What that means is it was owned by the Crown for royal hunting and recreation. And it's an old park established in 1536 by Henry VIII when he took land from Westminster Abbey to use as a hunting ground. In 1637 it was open to the public. In the northeast corner, near Marble Arch, close to the site of the former Tyburn Gallows, is the Hyde Park Speakers Corner. There are a number of assorted statues and memorials around Hyde Park. The Cavalry Memorial was built in 1924 at Stanhope Gate. It was moved to the Serpentine Road when Park Lane was widened to traffic in 1961. South of the Serpentine is Diana, Princess of Wales Memorial, an oval stone ring fountain opened on the 6th of July 2004. To the east of the Serpentine, just beyond the dam, is the British Holocaust Memorial. The 7th of July Memorial in the park commemorates the victims of the 7th of July 2005 London bombings. With the size of the park, it includes football pitches and tennis courts. It's been home to many concerts over the years, including Coldplay, Elton John, R.E.M., Madonna, just to name a few. Just off in the distance you can see Battersea Power Station, but before we get there we go over Chelsea Bridge. Chelsea Bridge is its second incarnation and was opened up in 1937 to replace the older rickety suspension bridge. We come up and go over Chelsea Bridge. Let's talk a little bit about Battersea Power Station. This is a decommissioned coal-fired power station. The station consists of two halls, Battersea A and B. A was decommissioned in 1975 with B in 1983. In 1980, the entire building was Grade 2 listed. There have been many attempts right up until 2012 to develop the land. All of them failed, generally to do with trying to purchase enough surrounding land for parking and other facilities. Ernst & Young, amongst others, entered into an agreement, and we have what we have today: shops, residential and a tube line to service it. And just a fun fact, the Great Egg Race used to be hosted here during the 80s. I'll put a link in the description so you can have a little bit more information about the Great Egg Race and Dr. Heinz Wolf. The site that we're at now, which is Battersea Park, was known as Battersea Fields prior to 1846 and was a popular spot for duels. The Duke of Wellington, and yes it is that one, the Duke of Wellington defeated Bonaparte. He duelled the Earl of Winchelsea. Neither was injured because Wellington shot wide deliberately. As mentioned, the park was opened in 1846 to the rough design of Sir James Penthorne. The first ever football match was played under the FA rules here. The park is also home to the amateur team known as the Wanderers FC, who were the first FA Cup winners in 1872. In 1996, the 101 Dalmatians films was filmed in the park, which stood in for St James's Park. No idea why they couldn't use St James's Park though. There's plenty more about the park, but I'm not going to say anything more about it because I'm keen to get to Clapham Common and actually see where the staging grounds are for the London to Brighton ride. Quick hop and a skip in 2.5 miles approximately, and we're at Clapham Common. Originally common land, no pun intended, it was converted to parkland under the terms of the Metropolitan Commons Act of 1878. It's 220 acres of green space. It has 3 ponds and a Victorian bandstand, which we'll see later. The park is half within the borough of Wandsworth and half in the borough of Lambeth, but is managed and maintained wholly by Lambeth Council, yet the policing is split between the two boroughs. This is the Temperance Fountain, and it depicts a young woman giving water to a beggar, and was cast by F. Miller of Munich from a sculpture of August von Kreling. It was commissioned in 1884, but was not erected in Clapham until 1895. The little lake that you'll just see coming up is for the Clapham Model Yacht Club, and it's free to use between 11 and 3 on Sundays. It's the only club south of the Thames. We leave the lake behind and we are now on the route to the bandstand. I'm going to leave this running and talk a little bit more about the bandstand in a minute or two. In front of us is the bandstand, constructed in 1890. It's the largest bandstand in London and it's Grade 2 listed. By the noughties it was in danger of collapse, and in 2005 a full restoration was commenced. The cost was around £1.2 million. Well, my fluffy bunnies, this is the end of part 1. Enjoy part 2 coming next week. Bye!